Hello everyone and welcome back to day 2 of our week-long trip across Iceland. If you missed the last episode, please go back and watch it. It is crucial in understanding the country and all that's needed to know if you'd like to take a trip here sometime in the future. Today we carry off from where we last fell asleep, the parking lot for Fjallabaki. Upon waking up, we noticed a problem. The car was running low on gas. In some of the more remote parts of Iceland, gas stations can be few and far between. I'd highly encourage refueling much more frequently than you would on the average road trip in, say, America. In result, we actually had to backtrack about 30 minutes to a gas station, adding an extra hour total to our already long drive time today. Don't make the same mistake we did. When we were finally ready to get things started, we proceeded in the direction of our first F-roads. Hopefully you've already seen episode 1 of the series, but in case you missed it, F-roads are non-paved gravel roads that connect some of the most remote and otherworldly sections of Iceland. These roads can get rough and may also require some river crossings, which is why Icelandic law prohibits anything less than a 4x4 vehicle from traversing these roads. But as scary as they might sound, F-roads are absolutely crucial when visiting the country, and you shouldn't be worried to drive them as long as you've come prepared. The F-roads will be taking us to this location today, which I'm not even going to try to pronounce. I was going to give it my best shot, but after hearing the translation on Google Translate, I knew there was no way.
Friðland að Fjallabaki.
Anyways, this translates in English to Fjallabaki Nature Reserve. This protects the 42 named mountains that can be found in the area, which has an unbelievable golden tinge to them. But more on that later. Our first stop in the park was this unpronounceable location that luckily does have an English nickname to it. And it's a pretty badass name as well. The Valley of Tears is what many call it, and just by looking at it, I'm sure you could understand why. To access the canyon, you'll park on this unpaved parking lot and then cross to begin the short hike. It's a 1.2 mile out and back trail that's actually less of a trail and instead another F-road for authorized vehicles only. I actually saw a car drive on this road all the way to the canyon, but judging by the signs I saw, you probably aren't supposed to do that. Anyways, once you get to the Valley of Tears, you'll have the ability to walk around to your heart's content. This was easily one of the most unique canyons I'd ever seen, and we wanted to get as many vantage points as possible. If you walk far enough, you're actually able to get down to this colorful flat section, which I'd highly recommend. Not only do you get a unique perspective from inside the canyon, but you also get to go up close to the streams that feed some of the waterfalls. Inside these streams were some of the most vibrant moss I'd seen, and we were actually able to get a few shots underwater so that you guys could get a better idea of what I'm talking about. Generally speaking, the Valley of Tears has quite the barren appearance, but in a way, it complements the seemingly endless waterfalls lining the canyon walls and the clay-like river below. It almost looks like a heaven and hell type of situation. The Valley of Tears is absolutely worthy to see, and if you're already going to our next stop, Landmannalaugar, it takes very little effort to see. Now, what exactly is Landmannalaugar? Well, for a while, I couldn't distinguish the difference between it and the general nature reserve, but it's to my knowledge that Landmannalaugar is a particular section of the reserve where a bunch of hiking trails begin, as well as hot springs, bathrooms, and more. While technically just 15 miles away from the Valley of Tears, this spot will take quite a while to get to due to the rough F-roads. I think it took us about an hour if I remember correctly. The entire drive doesn't seem to be going anywhere. You feel like you're in the middle of nowhere. But if you do pay close attention, the landscape and mountains start to get more and more green. Even so, we were surprised to see sheep all the way up here. They seem to find their way anywhere in this country.
Oh my god. How did you guys get up all the way over here?
Once you finally make it to Landmannalaugar, you'll notice 2 large parking lots separated by a large body of water. If you think your vehicle is capable of making it across like these people did, then you can park right up close to where everything begins. If not, it's just a super short additional walk, so it really doesn't make sense to try it in my opinion. Right away, you should notice the golden mountains making up Landmannalaugar. I've never seen anything quite like it. Additionally, this nature reserve is known for its geothermal activity and hot springs. While we didn't have the time to take advantage, there was an authentic natural hot spring near the restrooms that looked very reminiscent to the one we had experienced in yesterday's episode. But we weren't here for the hot spring. We were here to hike to the summit of Mount Blönduósir. This was the longest hike we experienced in Iceland at 4.1 miles looped. This is a fairly treacherous hike and one of the rare ones where the journey back down might be more difficult than the way up to the summit. The more elevation you gain, the more impressive the views become. The summit is at 3,084 feet high or 940 meters. The views are truly some of the best I've ever seen and solidifies a thought I had while on the hike. I think Landmannalaugar is my favorite place in all of Iceland. There is nothing I had ever experienced that felt more like another planet than this place. From the summit, you'll have the potential of seeing 5 ice sheets or glaciers out in the distance. As if this trail couldn't get any better, we quickly learned of the area's natural diversity. Not only do you start hiking your way into the Golden Mountains, but you also get glimpses of geothermal activity shooting hot steam up into the air. The remainder of the way down to the surface is easily the most difficult in my opinion, especially when you get to these constant switchbacks heading down the mountain, and not only are they very narrow, but they're actually banked outward, meaning careful footwork is extremely important here. Next, you'll have to cross a shallow river, and it's moments like this when I'm glad we brought our waterproof hiking boots. We were also lucky enough to see some sheep soon afterwards, and it was probably the closest interactions we had to sheep on the entire trip. To wrap up the hike, you'll be zigzagging your way through a lava bed. It can be a little confusing to navigate, as the only things reminding you of where to go are these small markers in the ground. But you do get some unique views of the large expanse of lava rock, and it can honestly be a little overwhelming because it looks like it's going on forever. You'll know you just about made it when you reconnect with the river that you had earlier crossed. I'd just like to say there's not many hikes I've been on that feel as diverse as this one. I think this is a must-do experience when you visit Iceland. On our way out of the nature reserve, we took a different route than before to expedite the process of getting to Iceland's southern coast. Now, unlike Road F208, which we came in with and had 0 river crossings, Road F225 had 2. And these were pretty significant river crossings, so definitely keep that in mind if you're planning a visit.
So this is the second river crossing. Thanks a lot. Let's see if we literally survive.
Don't slow down until you get to the island. Alright, now stop.
Continue on Landmannalaugar for 15 miles.
Alright, round 2. We're trying to get to this island right here. And go for it. We made it! At this point, it was only 5:30 p.m. and sunset wasn't until 8 or so. We decided we'd have the time to see a waterfall that we had originally planned to see the following morning. With this trip, being ahead of schedule was actually quite important, and you'll find out why in the next episode. Anyways, we made it to our next stop, Seljalandsfoss, just in time for sunset. This 197-foot tall waterfall is unique in that you can walk directly behind it. In this instance, we were able to watch the sunset through the waterfall, which was an incredible experience. Seljalandsfoss is a very popular destination amongst tourists, and it's located really close to the southern coastline. This actually put us in a great position for tomorrow, which was partially dedicated to Iceland's black sand beaches. When the sun had gone down, we realized we had another 20 or so minutes with enough visibility to actually do some more stuff. We took the opportunity to book it to Glu. This is a very unique bonus waterfall that takes a few minutes to walk to from Seljalandsfoss. Along the trail, you'll notice many other unnamed waterfalls flowing off the same butte or mountain as all the others. Glu is a nearly hidden waterfall tucked away in this narrow canyon, and you can only really reach it by getting your feet wet. I had never seen anything like this. When you reach the base, you look up at the waterfall, and it really feels like you're in a cave.
I've never seen something like that.
I had no idea how the day could have been any better until we saw these 2 additional waterfalls at sunset. It was an incredible finish to our second day in Iceland. Tomorrow's schedule accumulates the most diverse array of scenery in any one day of the trip. Definitely stay tuned for that. Subscribe to Travel Dash and turn on post notifications that you're notified every time we upload. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I'll see you very soon. Bye guys.